commemoration of D-Day, and it seems that the leaders of this world have learned nothing. Now, for what we are here to debate today, the Conservatives' Gatekeeper Bill. The Conservatives don't like gatekeepers unless it's them. The leader of the Conservative Party is the largest threat to Canada's freedoms since Confederation. Little known fact, Mr. Speaker, it is that me and the leader of the Conservatives went to the same high school.
Wow.
Yes, I am a Calgarian. And when I read this bill, it reminded me to revisit the far-right manifesto written in Alberta by the members of the far-right mentors of the leader of the opposition, called the Firewall. It lays out a plan to gatekeep Alberta against Canada, pushing those that believe in a strong, united Canada, and reward those who will adopt and manifest its doctrine of power and exclusion.
Well, that's
As we speak, Daniel Smith, the leader of the UCP and the Conservative Premier of Alberta, is passing laws that come directly from this manifesto, making it possible to throw out municipal government's decisions, throw out the governments she doesn't like, limit academic freedoms by gatekeeping their research funds, and destroying the Canada Pension Plan to keep people down in retirement.
Why would they want that?
The manifesto envisions that decision-making processes that affect people's lives and freedoms flow...
From Lethbridge is rising on a point of order.
I understand that there's a great deal of latitude in terms of how we address defense speeches in this House. The issue at hand right now is housing. Bill C-356, which is a private...
This has to do with housing. Look at you try to shut her up.
The member right now is currently talking about provincial politics. That doesn't seem to fit within the scope of this bill.
Oh, but they do about your stuff all the time.
Far, alt-right, conspiracy.
Oh, act like you don't know.
I'm not sure how that fits within this bill.
Sure you don't.
I would ask you to make a ruling that would be most appropriate for this.
Oh, at least you guys ask them to make a ruling. You don't tell them how to do his job.
Member from Port Moody, I thank the honourable member from Lethbridge, but the honourable member from Port Moody, Coquitlam, is talking about housing in general. The chair has been pretty tolerant in terms of the latitude. I'll invite the honourable member from Port Moody, Coquitlam, to make her point on, again, the bill that's before the House at this time.
The Firewall Manifesto envisions that decision-making processes that affect people's lives and freedoms flow through premiers' offices. Exactly what the leader of the Conservatives want to do, the leader of the Conservative wants to do when he says he will use the notwithstanding clause to pass his laws. The NDP is here to stop him. This right-wing ideology of imposing their will on women and all Canadians is dangerous and serves only the corporate class who have controlled federal governments since Confederation. This reality is so obviously true in housing. Governments at every level have overseen the financialization of housing. Instead of protecting our social housing stock for people, they encourage upzoning and gentrification in the name of density. Density dreams belong to developers, Mr. Speaker, who have made millions and billions of dollars off the displacement of low and middle income Canadians. The financialization of housing is only working for the wealthy and leaving people behind. The well-being of persons with disabilities and seniors sacrificed to millionaire CEOs. Liberal and Conservative governments have ensured truly affordable social housing has been sacrificed to create an asset class for the wealthiest people and companies across the globe. Right now, in my riding of Port Moody, Coquitlam, hundreds of affordable townhomes and apartments are being emptied and sitting empty. There are entire blocks of homes boarded up, ready for redevelopment, and some of these homes have been empty for years. Developers choose not to fill them so that they do not have to spend 1 cent on maintenance or pay tenants out when the time comes to begin their redevelopment. This is wrong. During this housing crisis, governments have allowed wealthy developers to hoard housing, allowing perfectly good homes to sit empty to protect the profits of corporations over the well-being of residents. High-end sales centers for luxury condos exist in every neighborhood across this country, right beside where low and middle-income Canadians have been displaced. And these corporate density dreams aren't focused on local buyers. They're marketing their luxury product overseas. And when a traveler arrives in the international terminal of YVR, they are enticed by posters of luxury housing to attract international investment.
Ew.
The current housing crisis is a crisis of negligence in protecting precious housing supply that people call home. I hear the calls for supply, supply, supply in the community. But in this bill, this is not what they're talking about. And I need to clarify what that supply call needs to be. Affordable housing supply. The federal government must put a laser focus on maintaining what is left of housing co-ops, purpose-built rentals, not-for-profit housing in the country. They have to put that before investment. The federal government needs to immediately reinvest in social housing,
Right
not
now.
in capital loans that they so feebly continue to bring forward, but ongoing stable operating funds to get people housed now.
Do it now.
The need to act cannot wait, and the solution is not conservative gatekeeping. Their policies are the ones that cause this problem. We cannot have one more person lose their home because they have been displaced by corporate capitalism. So let me reiterate how Canadians got into a situation where homelessness is growing, rents are skyrocketing, and property purchases out of reach for an entire generation. Conservative and liberal governments encourage the financialization of housing instead of protecting our social housing stock. They encouraged upzoning and gentrification in the name of density and profits. Density dreams are for developers. The financialization of housing is only working for the wealthy, and the most impacted right now, Mr. Speaker, are renters. We are losing rental homes at a rate of 15 to 1. For every new unit this government prides themselves on building, an unaffordable new unit, it has not protected 15 other renters who now have to find themselves evicted or dem-evicted from their homes. The government must immediately act to end the financialization of housing before more Canadians lose their homes, before more children are displaced from their schools and their friends, and before more seniors lose services as they are forced out of the community in which they live. And I can guarantee you that what the Conservatives have proposed here in this bill won't do that. As a city councillor in Coquitlam, I saw how these types of policies played out. The trading of density happening in the corner offices, while seniors and persons with disabilities, single moms, losing their homes. How many minutes do I have left, Mr. Speaker? Then I'm going to tell the story about 500 Foster, Mr. Speaker, a redevelopment in the city of Coquitlam. I went to see those folks before a public hearing, only to find out that they had received a letter from the developer before even an upzoning telling them to start moving out. A single mother with a child with a disability, a senior over 70 begging me to find him an old person's home, is what he said, old person's home to move into. Mr. Speaker, this is what's going on in every community of this country. I close by saying that New Democrats know that housing is a human right and will continue to stand up, and we will continue to stand up for people and block the harmful ideologies of the corporate conservatives who are attempting to roll back the clock so that the leader of the opposition can continue to act like a high school bully.